Whew, boy does that feel good. Hey everybody, Katie here with Backwoods Pursuits, and welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. As you can tell, I'm out here in the yard shooting my bow. It's been about 2 weeks since I was able to shoot because I've been very, very sick. And today's video, I'm just going to fling a couple arrows and talk about what's been going on, kind of where I've been, why I haven't made a video in a while. So stick around. So anyways, as I had mentioned earlier in the video, I haven't shot in a while because I've been sick, haven't made a video because I've been sick. It basically started probably really about a month ago where I noticed my knees were really super achy in the joint, like the joints of my knees, just very achy. And I've never really had knee problems or anything like that in the past. So, you know, started to get me a little worried. I do take glucosamine. But it just was persistently seemed like getting worse. And about 2 weeks ago, I woke up on a Sunday morning and I was just completely covered in sweat, dripping. Like, you know, woke up and just my pillow was soaked, the sheets were soaked, I was soaked. Got up and got in the shower. Didn't feel great that day, but didn't feel horrible. But I did notice I kind of had like a loss of appetite and just wasn't quite feeling myself. Well, it continued to get worse. I ended up getting a horrible fever for the whole week and a half after that. I probably had a very high fever for probably about 7 to 8 days. And I'm talking it got to 103.2 and above on some of the nights. It was worse at night. I was super achy, especially when I had the fever. My hip joints were particularly achy. I had a severe headache for this whole entire time. No appetite, and every night I would get those sweats. I'd first have the chills, you know, because of the fever. I'd have the chills, or I couldn't get warm. You could put every blanket, sleeping bag, anything that I had in the house, everything on me. I just couldn't get warm. I'd shiver, and then a couple hours later I'd just be dripping in sweat. I mean, completely dripping. My pillow was completely soaked every night. The bed was soaked. I was changing the sheets daily, if not more than that. It was rough, and no appetite, just feeling really bad. So finally it got to a Thursday and I said, you know, it's time to go get checked. Went to the doctor and they did a bunch of blood work. Of course, before I went to the doctor, I had taken some ibuprofen a little bit before that, so my fever had dropped down. So I didn't have a fever when I was there, but I told them everything that was going on. They wanted to do a bunch of blood work. They did a urine sample and kind of just waiting to hear. They did want to test for Lyme's disease. I mean, I go home that night, I feel horrible again. Same thing, high fever, can't eat, completely exhausted, tired, no energy, just bad. I mean, I just didn't feel good, and that's not like me. I don't get sick very often at all. I really, really don't, and I just felt so horrible. Doctor calls me the next morning, asks how I'm feeling. I said, not great, still feeling like crap. Had a super high fever again last night, 103.2. And she said, well, you know, all the tests came back looking pretty good. Lyme's disease came back negative. But she did mention that, you know, that could be a false negative. There may not be enough antibodies built up yet to make the test come back as positive. I was kind of leaning towards Lyme's, but then of course the test comes back negative. So here we go again, no answer. She wants me to come back in. She's concerned about the high fever. I go back in Friday. She wants to do more blood work. She's now going to do blood cultures. She's testing for blood infection. So back to the doctor I go, which is like the last place I want to be because I was feeling like death. And I was just rough that day. Go back to the doctor, they do the blood work. That night I go home, I'm still feeling like crap, and then I notice there's a spot on right on my side, big red spot, and it starts to slowly look like a bullseye. Then I notice another one on my left leg, like on the side of my calf, and then another one on my shoulder, and another one on my arm. These red spots, and this first one looked kind of like a bullseye. Now, it is a rash, and I'm not exactly sure how to say the name of it. It's like urethrin migrans, something like that. I'm not sure of the pronunciation. I'll put the words right here what it is. But that is a classic sign of Lyme's disease, and especially that bullseye mark, which a lot of people think you're going to get the bullseye on the site where you got bit by the tick, which that can happen too. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's the case or that's what always happens. You can just get this rash that shows up randomly in all different spots on your body. It doesn't necessarily have to be at the bite, you know, the site of the bite. I am always in the woods, of course. You know, I try to protect myself as best as I can. And I'm always looking for ticks. I find them on me, try to get them off of me. You know, once in a while I'll have one bit in. But in the recent, I hadn't noticed any that have, you know, bit into me. But, you know, who the heck knows? And those things, I mean, they're getting smaller and smaller and harder to find, and more of them around. And it's scary. Lyme's is no joke. And sure enough, I have Lyme's disease. The rash was... you know, something that 100% proves it. I talked to the doctor. She said, yep, there's no other rash like that. That is 100% Lyme's. So how crazy is that I go to the doctor? Well, first off, my body was as sick as it was. I mean, I'm talking 100, probably close some nights to 105 temperature. I'm not exaggerating. Sweating like crazy, couldn't, you know, really, didn't have any appetite. I tried to keep as many fluids down as I could. A severe headache just behind my eyelids and in my temples for 8 days straight. Just total loss of energy. It was just horrible. And like, especially for somebody who doesn't get sick very often, I took it even harder. And being bedridden for that long, for somebody who's active, it was just the worst. The worst. And scary as can be. But I just think it's pretty crazy, and I'm just kind of putting this video out to, of course, explain kind of where I've been, but also as a preventative thing to keep your eyes open, check for ticks. It's so important to protect yourself. And look at that. Look at what it did to my body for a whole 8 days straight. Then I get tested for Lyme's, and it comes back negative. I mean, that's crazy what it can do to your body and still show up negative on a test. Luckily, the doctor on the day I went back, Friday, the second day I went back, she did say, well, you know, I'm going to go ahead and put you on antibiotic, which is doxycycline, anyways, just because I do suspect Lyme's, even though the test came back negative. As soon as I got on that antibiotic, I immediately noticed I started to feel a little bit better. Every day getting better, building my strength back. I am almost now back to my, almost back to 100% myself. The other thing I noticed is during that time I had my jaw was super sore on this side, and I couldn't really open my mouth all the way. I noticed that pain is still kind of there. It's better than it was, but it's still lingering. I hope that's something that doesn't stick around. My knees are feeling better. My hip joints feel pretty much back to normal. No more headache. I've been getting my appetite back. My energy's been coming back. But just so crazy that I get tested, and it comes up negative, and here I end up having it anyways, you know. So Lyme's disease is no joke, and you really got to protect yourself, A, number one, and B, number two, make sure you're always checking yourself, your kids, your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. Make sure you're always checking for those ticks, because trust me, you don't want to get Lyme's disease. And I'm going to do some more preventative things once I'm off this doxycycline. That's the antibiotic. I'm on it for 21 days. You take it twice a day for 21 days. And you got to kind of be careful. You don't want to really be in the sun too much, drink a lot of water, that kind of thing, while you're on the antibiotic. And I'm somebody who's a very like medicinal kind of person with nature, and I know that antibiotic's super strong. I know it kills a lot of good bacteria and things like that, but it's something that I needed for the time being. It's not something I want to thrive and live on. I'm going to look into some other options. So, you know, I'll keep you up to par with my journey as things go on. my journey with Lymes. But as of now, I am on the mend, starting to feel better, starting to get my strength back. As you can see, I'm shooting my bow, getting that back, getting back in the swing of things. I want to be shooting my bow every day up until archery, because archery's coming up so soon. It's right around the corner. Building my strength back in terms of just my endurance. I've been taking walks just about every day, and I'm up to 4 miles now on a good, pretty fast walk in the evening. So feeling good, building my strength back, getting my energy back. The only other thing lingering really is like that pain in my jaw a little bit, but hopefully hopefully that'll subside some. So let's shoot some more. Well guys, it's getting pretty windy out here. We got some thunderstorms rolling in this early afternoon, so I'm probably just going to do a few more shots and then call it good for today. But boy, does it feel good to be shooting again, and it feels even better to feel good again. So I appreciate you guys sticking around for this video. I know it wasn't anything too exciting, but I just kind of wanted to give you an update on where I've been and what's been kind of going on. I have a lot of things coming up here on the channel. I want to try to get better about putting content out weekly. I have some videos that I filmed a while ago that I am editing now, and I'm going to try to get out here within the next few days. And also have a neat little video of me catching my first muskie. It was not a big muskie by any means, just a small one, but I had never caught a muskie before, and I happened to actually get it on video, which was pretty cool. And that was something that's been on my bucket list, so I was able to cross that off the bucket list, and I'm pretty excited about that. So I figured I'd put out a little video about it anyways. Like I said, just a short, real short video. But also, I noticed that I have quite a few new subscribers, so I want to say thank you very much and welcome to my channel. Apologize for not getting anything out lately, but I'm going to get better at it. I know a lot of you new subscribers have come from my archery buck video, and if any of you out there that haven't seen that yet, go back and watch it. I'll leave a link for it right here. Pretty cool video. I self-filmed in my first ever archery buck last year, and I did it on public land, so that was super exciting. That was also a bucket list item of mine that I got to cross out. So working my way through some of those bucket list item things, and planning on bringing you guys a lot more content here coming up in the future. If there's anything that you guys would like to see more of, or like to see in general, drop me a comment below. Let me know what you guys would like to see, what kind of videos and stuff like that you're looking forward to. But I got some things that I've been editing that I filmed a while ago I'll be putting out, and I have some new things in mind that I'll be doing. So hoping to keep the channel active. I'm feeling better, and it feels great to feel better. And stay safe out there, guys. Watch for the Lyme's disease. Watch for those darn ticks. Protect yourself. Use things that are going to keep you safe. And check yourself every day if you're out in the woods for ticks, or even if you're playing around in your yard, because they are prevalent. They are out there, especially here in the eastern part of the country. So that's about all I have for you today. I really appreciate you guys sticking around for this video, and stay tuned for the next Backwoods Pursuits video.